going on, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Wednesday is over with. Thursday, that's right, your favorite day of the week, my favorite day of the week, Tay-Tay Thursday. We're right around the corner, and then what's next? Friday. So, I hope you guys are looking forward to almost the end of the week, but for tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about that half-inch DeWalt cordless impact that I got. And we're going to take a closer look at some of the battery issues or tool issues that Milwaukee had that caused me to struggle so much, and why I decided to pick up this half-inch DeWalt outside of just testing it, but as a backup while I waited for these batteries to get warrantied out. We're going to take a closer look at some of the issues that we had gotten resolved on Jeff's tool truck from yesterday. Decided to save that for today's clip. I'm also going to share with you some of the clips that I took along the way of using the DeWalt and the Milwaukee side by side, and at least one or two clips, mostly the uses of the DeWalt. And I can tell you that so far I have not really ran into any particular situations that I've not been able to use the DeWalt for that I have been able to use the Milwaukee for. They both seem to do what I need them to do, and when they can't do it, neither one can do it. So, ergo, sometimes error's still your best friend. I say that because also I have another one of my batteries being warrantied out by Milwaukee, and it's been sent in. So it's kind of limited me on my cordless usage between the 3/8 ratchet and the 3/8 impact gun. So I've had to jump to pneumatics. So I'll show you a couple of pneumatic clips and why I think it's still a good idea for you to carry these in your toolbox. That being said, let's roll right into it. Take a closer look at the battery or the actual housing issues that Milwaukee had. And then we'll take a look at some of the uses that I've used the DeWalt with, and we'll talk about it.
It's been a long time since I had to use air. And then I bought this SP Air thing like 6 years ago. Like a charm. Like a dream. Looks like we're going to be using a lot more air while we wait for our Milwaukee batteries. Let's go see Jeff and just see what the deal was. Was it the tool or was it the battery? Let's go take a look.
Alright, so here's the battery slop like you was talking about. On this one. And then this thing got the same thing. And this is the one I had to tape because it'll literally slop out and the lights give me the kit from Knight Rider.
It's like the piece that actually locks on isn't tight on the battery cord. Yeah, that's 100 times different.
So it is a battery issue then.
Yeah, it's like this black casing.
The black piece that locks it. Oh, you know what? There's a screw on the bottom. Is it loose by chance?
I don't know.
It's a complete
maybe that's
redesign.
part of it. Yeah.
Because of that, huh?
Yeah, this is completely different than that one.
That could just be because this has no wear in it at all.
This one is definitely, if you try this out.
You have the problems with the most.
And then this one.
With the gun and the battery?
Well, yeah.
If you put this battery into the gun.
Or take the tape off.
If you put this battery into this gun, it works. I don't know that I have a problem with that, but I tried to borrow his gun, and when I went to use it, I'd pull the trigger, and you could see there was something wrong, so you'd kind of tap it and do it, and then it would work. But when you're trying to one-hand the operation, it makes it difficult.
I'll tell you something else that's weird while you're on doing that is on the half-inch. Now you can have your hand way up here. I'm nowhere even near this gray button, but for whatever reason, and Mike's done it, you get stuck in the little don't barely snug me at all mode, and he's like, what the heck's going on? He charged like 2 batteries, and then he realized he had to go back to 3, but you could be way up here on it, not even touching it, and for whatever reason, it vibrates itself over to the next setting.
I don't know if that's it. I think it's the way you grab it. I think your knuckle hits it.
That could be. But this thing also has the same issue where it loses power and everything else because the battery slop. I was going to wrap a zip tie around it or tape.
Oh, you see how tight that fit?
Yeah, that's totally different too. Does that one shake like the other one?
No. one ear's broken off.
Well,
So that needs to go in for repair. Yeah, it doesn't even fit tight in there.
yeah, there's something wrong
So
with
the ear, so this is a battery issue. I'd say that's a battery issue
Yeah, the case.
because of the case, yeah.
You think the 1/2 inch too? Because it seems like it's nothing but the battery issue so far. Because the 1/2 inch will do that too.
These ones that I get, they seem to be a little loose. They all have play.
Right.
I haven't had a battery problem with this one. The only problem I've had is the hitting the button and powering it down.
I see, look at, so I'd
This
say there's
one I
more
have
in the
problems
battery
with all
there
the
than
time.
there's in the tool, but they all have play.
Right.
So
Sometimes I gotta slap the bottom like a magazine, and it'll kick back in. But I just
it's
didn't know
all
what
on
it
what
was.
you want to give up. They are on a 3-week turnaround right now.
Sweet.
It's taking 3 weeks to get stuff back.
Give up
this
the
one up first.
So this is broken. This needs to be sent in.
Right.
That is one that you're saying if this is in here, it seems to work.
I say let's hang on to the little guy then for
Yeah,
now.
let me send that. We can just rotate.
Yeah, I say you can go ahead and send those two in. The 1/2 inch.
You have another battery for this, right?
Yeah, well I got another gun too. So either one. Because we got 3 guns now or 4 guns in the shop. So I'm not worried about the 1/2 inch one for right now. And then I've got the air pneumatic stuff, so. But the little ratchet, oh yeah.
These are
those
stuff
two
that you
get
got
used.
from me?
Yeah.
I just need to, I'm going to have to, like, proof of purchase.
The 1/2 inch, I'm not sure. The 3/8, yes. Bought both of those from you. The ratchet and the stubby gun. But either way, even if there's like a couple of dollars owed for them fixing this or something, just let me know.
Most of the time, most of the time they will take care of stuff. They've been, like I said, pretty damn good about
Warranty.
warranty stuff. There's a few things here and there where they go like, yeah, sorry, kick rocks.
Gotcha. All right, well, thank you. All right, everyone. First time go, first time use. DeWalt XR 21 millimeter, 3-inch extension, most commonly used on tire and lug nut removal. Like that. Let's go for a wild ride. Got the DeWalt Milwaukee battery being sent in. So we're kind of mixing back and forth between air tools and the DeWalt today. But I thought it was an interesting little experiment here that we put this in the vise to try to listen for a bearing noise using the DeWalt. Check it out. Sounds pretty good. Main complaint is that there's a whining noise. To be thought that it was the alternator. Actually turned out to be the AC compressor. I can't show you how we did it. I can just tell you that we went straight up from the AC compressor on this Honda, straight up in the air, took the belt, wrapped it around the alternator, and just on the AC compressor, did the same thing, pulled it away, and you can clearly hear the noise coming from the compressor. Overall though, I thought it was a pretty interesting way to try to narrow down noises because there was a couple of different noises. We were trying to find one specifically. So, hope you guys enjoyed that clip. Okay, in all fairness, they both seem to stack up pretty damn close to each other. This one sounds a little bit more powerful than that one, but I think that one's also a little bit low on charge too. Yeah, and then where are we at here? Full. But the threads are just jacked.
All right, so overall, they stacked up pretty close to each other. Got a chance to see some of the testing that we did on the truck, narrow it down to pretty much just it being a battery complaint. You've seen that I'm still using air tools. I got my SP Air sealed head design, air pneumatic ratchet, whatever. Love that thing. I've had that thing forever. I want to say at least 6 years, maybe even closer to 7. Had a handful of my air tools for a long time. I think the more recent ones would have to be the Matco Air Hammer and then the Matco 1/2 inch, which I think I've had that for a few years now, and the Hammer, of course, is still relatively new. But coming back to DeWalt, so some things that I liked about it that I can compare and give you my pros and cons between the both. I like the fact that it has a selector switch that goes 1, 2, 3, and there's a movable lever. You don't have to push this button, which we've talked about in the past, where sometimes you accidentally push that button with your pinky and it goes into the slow snug mode, right? Everyone hates it. You think there's something wrong with it when there's not. So just double check that button if you're having issues. Other issues that it had was battery slop issues, which I'm told DeWalt also has the same exact thing over a period of time of use. We're gonna find that out over a period of time. My initial impressions, I like the grip. The grip is pretty comfortable. It stacks up pretty well to the Milwaukee. So if I had to compare and contrast both, I'd say both are equivalently the same. So I'm giving the ergonomics of the actual gun itself 2 thumbs up for both. As far as the weight for both about the same also, 2 thumbs up, keeping it around the same weight. Both made in the USA. Both have a fuel life indicator on the lithium battery, which I'm aware of that Milwaukee holds those rights, and I'm sure that DeWalt pays them a little subsidiary for using that technology. But I like the fact that there is an indicator on it so you can tell how low on charge you are. So those are my likes so far in the comparison realm. The cons to the DeWalt I haven't ran into just yet, but I will say that so far so good. It has tackled just about everything that I would normally throw at it given a 2-week period. Same exact thing can be said about the Milwaukee. The cons for the Milwaukee would be the snap ring, where that would be a pro for the DeWalt. DeWalt has a detent locking system. The Milwaukee has a snap ring locking system. I like the detent style better. That's just my opinion, because sometimes I do use chrome when you're not supposed to, whatever. I do use it, so I will say I like that because I know I don't have to worry about a snap ring wearing out. Charge time. Charge time equivalently about the same, about 40-45 minutes for a full charge on either battery, whether it's DeWalt or Milwaukee, so I can stack that up side by side. The rubber on the actual DeWalt versus the rubber on the actual Milwaukee appear to be about the same in fashion. I think there are bigger stoppers on the Milwaukee, so I think that might add for extra drop protection. I haven't drop tested the DeWalt yet. I have accidentally dropped the Milwaukee a couple of times and it still keeps on going outside of its little battery issue. When I needed them to work, they worked. When I needed them to work and they didn't work, neither one of them worked. And then I ran into a situation where I had to use a cutoff wheel to cut off the nut because it was just that jacked up on this particular fuel tank strap, which you saw here at the end. Alright guys, so that's pretty much all that I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's content. These are my initial thoughts and impressions on the DeWalt versus the Milwaukee. Like I said, pretty side-by-side comparison. A lot of similarities. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't pick up a 1/2 inch if you're in need for one. And the DeWalt platform, unless you really wanted other options like the cordless ratchet and the cordless die grinders and the cordless this and that the Milwaukee offer you. Do I think that DeWalt should try to develop some other tools for their arsenal and put it into their realm? Yes, I do. Time will tell. That's all I got for this video. Cheers to those of you that have your beers. See you guys next time. Deuces.